The role of the project manager is often compared to an orchestra conductor. This is the person that understands and brings together and makes beautiful music come from disparate parts. The wind section, the horn section, the drum section, they all come together to make beautiful music. And like that orchestra, a project is the same way. And a project manager is like the maestro, bringing it all together. A project manager manages team members with many different roles, sometimes quite divergent roles, and I cannot emphasize this enough. You can't blame Jane down the hall. You can't blame Ted. You can't blame Manasa. The bottom line is, if you are assigned as the project manager and you hold that role, you are responsible for the project outcome. I cannot emphasize that enough. You, as the project manager, are wholly and entirely responsible for the project outcome, no one else. You can say that others contribute to the benefit, the success or failure, but you are ultimately responsible. Very important to note. Now, the thing is, though, with that responsibility, a PM cannot perform every role. You're not expected to perform every role. Instead, you need to have sufficient project management and technical knowledge and experience. And in that way, you bring those skills together to help become the maestro to orchestrate effective delivery. Now, project managers operate in a vast sphere of influence. As you see that their immediate influence is on the project team, the project portfolio planning managers therein. So that would be project managers, program managers, and portfolio managers they might report into or work with, resource managers who they need to retrieve and get and apply resources from. In the next sphere out, the project sponsor is extremely important, and the project manager needs to work to influence those individuals, any governing bodies, any steering committees that they need to be working with, and the project management office if one exists. And then within that sphere of influence, but a bit further out, are the general stakeholders, any suppliers to the project, any customers of the project, and the end users. I hope from this slide you can see that the sphere of influence of a project manager is wide, and it tends to be also quite deep. So let's talk about the project and the project manager. In the project context, the project manager leads the project team to meet the objectives and the expectations of the stakeholders. They balance competing constraints, available resources. They balance those trade-offs. It's so crucial to all aspects of management. They communicate with the project sponsor, with team members, with other stakeholders on a regular basis. Communication is so important. The project manager provides direction and vision for success. And the project manager, and this cannot be underestimated, uses soft skills, the interpersonal skills and ability to manage people to drive consensus, even if, everybody doesn't have 100% agreement. They need support to proceed. And a good project manager uses these soft skills to make that happen. I love this statistic. The top 2%, that's 2% of successful project managers, display superior relationship and communication skills. They display a positive attitude. So important, even in the face of challenge. When you look at LinkedIn, there's a recommendation in there from when I worked at Gartner. They were laying people off all around us, but I still needed to drive a team and manage a team to deliver. And to do so, we had to keep a positive attitude in the face of challenge. A very close old colleague, it's about 10 years ago now, gave me credit for doing just that. I think that is one of the best things I ever heard during my entire career. It's so true. Keeping the relationships up, communicating, making sure that everyone has a positive attitude is so important. And a key factor in that is communication. And communication can be verbal. It could be nonverbal. Don't forget the body language and written. Body language, look at my hand motion. Look at my facial expressions. That's body language. Coming up or devising a communication plan and actually adhering to it. Are you having staff meetings on time? Do you not miss one-on-one meetings with your team? Do you have the proper status meetings with your steering committee on time with the right information that they can best digest? That's all about. So as a result, you need to understand what the stakeholder communication needs are. You need to be predictable in your communication. You need to be consistent in your communication. You need to ensure that the communications are clear. They're concise, completeness, simple. Do not throw big words in. People don't understand them. Relevant to the situation and tailored therein. Sharing important news, and that news can be positive and negative. The point being, it has to be accurate, has to be open. Okay. It has to also incorporate feedback channels so you can hear back from the people that you're sending or you're transmitting the communication to. And really, part of this is you have to, as a project manager, foster both formal and informal networks. They talk about the water cooler being more powerful. The people that converge at the water cooler perhaps are sometimes more informally powerful and more influential than the formal organization chart. You, as the project manager, need to understand that. Let's talk about your role in the organization. Dealing with the organization, you need to know, as a project manager, other projects and programs may compete with or complement each other for funding, for resources, for deliverables receipt, for getting deliverables, for goals and objectives. And project managers also have to play nice. They have to interact with other project managers. It's not, I repeat, not a competition. Project managers need to collaborate well with their peers. So much good came during my career when I would just establish, informal networks. Project managers are a rare breed, and they want to be able to be with a community, and they will really, really support one another. But you have to, join them and work with them, and you'll see great benefit. The project manager is a strong advocate for the organization. Make no mistake, the organization that you work for is who you advocate for. Okay. So, even as a consultant, now this is an issue sometimes. Sometimes the consulting firm will call a project manager who's consulting for another company. They'll say they've gone to the other side. That's not the right way to think, because that project manager is doing the right thing by advocating for the organization they're working for. A project manager addresses political and strategic issues with the sponsor. So you have to have a good relationship with that sponsor, and they can help you. That's the job. They're a senior person in the business. They can help you with the politics. They can help you with strategy. They can help you working through issues that will impact strategic progress. The project manager will just increase project management competency through example, through mentoring, through policies and procedures that they promote and promulgate in their organization. And the project manager facilitates knowledge transfer on many levels, both from a project management perspective, how to be an effective delivery team, as well as knowledge transfer about the business or about what we're dealing with, or think about when people come on board and they need orientation. They call it onboarding. Well, knowledge transfer, making sure that we have enough bench strength on the team. So if one person gets sick, or if one person is focused too much on one thing to expedite something that's late, the rest of the team can fill in.